God, I'm fast. I completely forgot about the Instagram thing, and boom, 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 I'm live on Instagram just like that.
Awesome.
That's why. Look at Tim. Tim's like, John, you don't have to. John, Tim's looking at me. He's like, John, you don't have to.
Forehead right now, Pinocchio.
Tim's like, don't tell everybody our faults. You know, don't just like make it pretend like it just happened. That's the look he had on his face. Hey, welcome everyone to the. So fast. I'm the Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Truncali.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like it. I'll take it. Yeah, I looked over and I go, whoa, we're not on Instagram. Wait a minute, man. Boom, boom, boom. We're in. Just like that. Welcome everyone to the Wednesday night live show. Almost got the shows mixed up. We are back. It's Wednesday. I'm your host, John Truncali, along with Mr. Timmy Swift up there. And the Southern neighbor, Michelle, and Lindsay is getting out of the shower. She'll be here any minute. Again, John, you don't have to share that information, right?
Bow wow.
Do I have Chicka Bow Wow music? I probably do somewhere. Somewhere, I probably do.
You guys.
Yeah. Hey, it's goofy time. It's Wednesday. It's my Friday. There you go. Yeah, so I got to work tonight, and then I'm off for 2 nights. Topics. We got, of course, the show would not be a show without a Jim McDonald article, correct? Without a Jim McDonald article, would not be a show. Federal judge grants injunctions, blocks Iowa PMTA registry for now. And the next one is a article from somebody named Christian, and he is from the Washington Examiner. And the headline on that one: Trump facing bipartisan pressure to crack down on Chinese vapes. I don't like that. I don't like that bipartisan. Yeah, you know.
No. No.
I want names, Tim. I want names. I want to know who these people are. These that are giving us hell, right?
Well, it's not Dick Durbin anymore.
It's not Dick. Dick's not a dick.
Not Dicky boy.
Dick's not a dick anymore.
Well,
he still is, I'm sure.
He'll always be a dick to us. But why can't these people just quietly just go away? Like, okay,
just crawl under that rock again.
Well, you know how when somebody gets mad, like in a Facebook group or something, or like, I'm leaving. Like, you don't have to announce your exit. Just go. Then don't show up somewhere else, like, you know, as a lobbyist or somewhere in the background.
Yeah. You froze up for a second, Timmy. Dick is getting mad.
Me?
Yeah, he did. It could be me. I am testing out the producer's desk for the studio. So if I disappear, Tim takes over, but I will jump back in. So I'm making sure
everyone to take note. Yeah. Take note. This is where everybody knows. When you over technology. When you over technology, these are the challenges.
Dude,
I just want everybody to know it's not ever my fault because I don't do anything that you guys do.
That is true. It is never Michelle's fault.
It's never gonna be my fault.
Tim understands this because I know Tim has hooked up and set up music venues, and he's with guitars and amplifiers and all this other stuff. Tim, close your eyes and picture that. That's what the floor of the studio looks like. There's XLR cables running all over the place. There are microphone cables. There are friggin' extension cords. There are speaker wires everywhere. I got smart a couple weeks ago, or actually a month and a half ago. I got smart, and I in the beginning I kind of went budget wise. I was like, John, just buy whatever, Amazon Basic, buy. And I realized that Amazon Basic is that basic, and it's their XLR cables aren't insulated, so if they're next to anything that has power in it, it will pick up that feed. So I learned that lesson. So I replaced everything with heavily insulated cables, so I should not get any.
He does it well.
Pleasant. So pleasant.
Thank you very much. We are right. Let's get into it. Michelle, I'll start with you because I know Tim's week. It's just been a fabulous week because I've been going through.
Yeah, I want to hear about his week.
I've been going through all his pictures. So look at that smile on his face. Michelle.
Yes.
How's your week going, Michelle?
Oh, it's exciting. Yeah. I have absolutely no life, but hey, it's going.
Michelle, make shit up, Michelle. Nobody will know.
Went to the mailbox.
No, I don't lie because lying always gets me caught, and then I just go, duh, I don't know. So I don't have a lie.
Yeah. I went to Disneyland. Yeah.
No, that would not be me. I can guarantee that. I'm not a Disney fan at all. Never. So.
But you're such a princess.
Yeah, there you go. I'd hug you right now if I could, but that's okay.
Yeah. I had a there it is. Bottom boom.
You guys.
No,
I'm having a good week. I think somebody's moving in upstairs, but so far so good, and it's quiet. I don't hear them thumping or slamming or nothing. So
nice.
Let's hope it stays that way. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Had a few bumps.
Yeah, good. I have had a pretty good week. Just finishing up some things and doing this, trying to get this done. Trying to get my theater stuff done for my other room, my living room, and then last night I went to work. I worked 2 hours, and I got at work at 9, and then 11 o'clock I got a call. It says the garage is flooded, and the water heater was leaking, and I thought, oh shit! So I got back to the house. Thank God it wasn't the water heater; it was just the main water line that runs into the heater. It went bad, and I guess whoever replaced the water heater kept the old line on there and put the new one. Thank God, was taped to the back of the water heater. So I just grabbed the new one. Yeah, exactly, Tim.
Someone it didn't go through your ceiling.
No. It goes through. It goes through, and then mine's out in the garage. Ours is out in the garage. So if it does, it's not a big issue. If it does leak, it just goes out to the street. But then again, you got boxes on the floor and other stuff.
Yeah.
But it ended up being the line. So, and the new line was still there. I guess he figured it was still good, and he left it and he taped in the bag still the new one to the back of the wall. And I'm like, okay, yeah, great, thank you, you saved me. That's it.
Good.
That's it. That's my excitement. And like I said, I'm trying to get all this shit done at one time. And hopefully it'll be all up and running by Friday. Hopefully by Friday. Yeah, Tim.
God,
Tim,
where do I start?
Yeah, I mean, where do you start? Start with the morning before
I'm kind of, I wasn't able to make the show. We didn't have a show last week. I wasn't going to be able to make the show because I had all these big plans lined up. But I figured, really, it was kind of like a double benefit, right? So no show to kind of let everybody kind of have their priorities in life, and then I figure the rest of you spent last week trying to figure out the new Android update, right? Because that's all I've heard for about a week is everybody moaning and bitching and whining about the brand new Android update. So, I'm not apologizing on the side of Samsung for the new One UI and all the new shit, but I actually like the update, so hate me if you want. Anyway, those things to me are like, you know what? Everybody can complain about it all they want, and then I'm like, it's just like when Facebook changed their interface. It's like everybody complained for like a week, and then a week later, everybody got used to it, and then everybody just calmed down. Not what I meant to talk about, but it was just on my mind, so I thought I'd share. With that said, God, where do I start? It's been a very full
here it comes, guys.
Week, very full week.
Tim, may
You
I
coulda
share
shared.
pictures too? Tim,
the
may I
wife
share
and I
pic- Tim, may I share pictures?
you're welcome. I mean, yeah, they can.
Yeah.
You can share pictures if you want
All
to.
right.
There's no nudity, so it's okay.
Well-
So the wife and I set course on an adventure north up to a little town called Columbia, Maryland, for an annual festival called the M3 Festival in Columbia, Maryland, and that's changed here and there a little bit, but it's a 3-day festival in Maryland annually, and it is a nostalgic. Well, the general theme is a nostalgic um, rock festival, right? So it's all the bands, or primarily bands from like the 80s and the 90s, the hair metal genre, if you want to call it. So we booked that in lieu of not being able to go on the cruise MORC this year. So with that said, we took off on Tuesday to head up a little early because we wanted to get up there and get checked in and then have about a day or so to kind of just mill around Baltimore and go see some sights and stuff. So we did that. We got it, and mind you, it's a 9.5-hour drive.
Yeah.
So it wasn't any little hop, skip, and a jump. It was a bit of a trek, but I've pulled those before, so it wasn't anything that was daunting. But we got up there, and we got there on I think if you go down, John, I think if you scroll down a little bit more, I kind of started there. No, well, there that too. Yeah, I mean that's us. That's the wife and I sitting there at the festival. We had pretty good seats. We got the VIP. We got the VIP package, if you want to call it that.
Of course you did. Of course you did, Tim.
Well, we didn't get like the top tier VIP. We got that was called Rockstar VIP, and those were more advantageous, like pit floor seat kind of things. Yeah. We got the basic VIP there. It started there. That's when I first started sharing the picture. So it's kind of hard to see that right there. Like, so I'll get to that. So just stay there, and then we can move along from there. So let's not confuse people like as to what they're actually looking at. So this is going to be a 2-hour show all about my trip to Columbia, Maryland. So everybody buckle up. Forget vaping for a day.
Were you allowed to vape?
It's all about me. No, I'm joking.
Were you allowed to vape? Were you allowed to vape? Did you stealth vape at the event, Tim?
I'm a king stealth vapor. It said no smoking, and I went, well, I'm not smoking.
That's
I'm
right.
vaping.
No.
So anyway, yeah, I got away with it the whole 3 days. But
good.
So we went to Baltimore one day. We did the aquarium. Then the next day we went to a little area called Fells Point, which is like an old 1700s area of Baltimore with cobblestone streets. So we got to go see the area. So then the festival starts. So the first night of the festival was only 2 acts. So what you're looking at here is kind of a double act. They're a tribute band. They actually they're called Snake Oil. That's like their actual band, their original music. And then the other part that they do is called Icons of Rock. And so it seems to be primarily maybe a husband-wife team, I'm thinking. But they kind of do like 2 or 3 songs from different bands, and then of course they dress up. So this was the first 2 songs, and this lead singer, guitar player guy there in the middle, not the lead guitar player to the left, but the middle guy. So he came out and he did a couple Kiss songs. So he was dressed up like Paul Stanley. Then the girl came out and she was dressed up like Nancy Wilson. So she did like 2 Heart songs. Then he came back out and holy crap, I forgot what he did. He did like 2 more songs. Dressed up as somebody. I can't remember exactly what it was. I'll remember halfway through the show. And then she came back out and she did Pat Benatar. And then they came out and then they did a couple of their own songs. They only got 30 minutes. Then after that, to close out the night was the one and only Sebastian Bach. So we got basically like an hour and a half of Sebastian Bach. So that was night 1. And then after that, we went to I forgot a story too. Well, anyway, the night before, though, Thursday night before this night, they had a pre-party that we went to that had 5 different bands, which are kind of mid-level bands that aren't going to get on the festival tour, which is done by another guy. So we had that the first night. This was night 2. So that was fun. And of course, the festival is packed full of people that, you know, are typically in the same sort of community series of concerts and festivals. So, you know, a lot of people there. And not to mention, this was sort of my stomping grounds back in the day. So I got to see a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time since I moved to Atlanta. So people I hadn't seen in about a decade. So it was good to run into people like that. Then you can close that one out, John. I think there's a picture of Sebastian Bach. Well, that was us before we went on the first night. Yeah, you can just cycle through. So there's Sebastian with his band.
There was alcohol involved. There was alcohol?
Those were the insanely priced $17 IPA and hazies, the IPAs that we could buy. The cheapest beer was a draft, and that was $13, folks. $13 for a 16-ounce draft beer. So
that was PBR. It was PBR too.
Yeah, well, PBR was not an option. They had good options, but even the low ball stuff, like the basic crap, like the Bud Light and the Ultra Light, which I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No.
Those were like $13. But we got those to start, and then we kind of went over to the drafts after that. Then night 2 or day 2, that started at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was a full day of music, and that ended. The headliner for Friday night, for Saturday night, was none other than David Lee Roth. So
nice.
He's making his big comeback, right? So this was his Test the Waters show. People want to review. How did it go? What did I think? He's been known to be a bit of a train wreck in the past. He's kind of an oddball kind of guy. He's an entertainer. He's a showman. But I have to say it was very well done. You know, we thought, like, what's going to happen? He came out and he wasn't dressed crazily. He was just in a really cool kind of like real fitting kind of black leather outfit. He had 4 backup singers, all dudes. And then he had like a 3-piece band, but they did all of the Van Halen hit classics, all the Van Halen classics, Unchained, Atomic Punk. I mean, the list goes on. He did all of those, and it sounded fantastic. So I would say, if you get a chance, he's announced 21 dates. He's coming back around. You know, go see the show if you can afford the ticket. I have no idea what the tickets cost. And then the third night, the third day was Sunday, and that was another full day of music. 1 o'clock bands like Vixen and Lita Ford and gosh, I'm trying to think of who else was Child's Play. Nobody would know who the fuck they are. But anyway, doesn't really matter. Point was, then that headliner that day was Warren DeMartini and Stephen Piercy from Rat. So basically we got like the full Rat thing. And in all honesty, Stephen Piercy, he's doesn't sing very well much anymore, but oh well. It was fun. We had a good time. And then we drove back Monday. And to top it all off on the way back, since we were passing through Richmond, we were able to meet up with my parents and have lunch with them. Nice. So kind of an early Mother's Day gift for my mom to be able to spend a little bit of time with her. So we all trucked over to Chick-fil-A, got some chicken
Mom's
sandwiches
choice.
and chicken sandwiches and waffle fries, and had a nice conversation and looked at some old pictures and chit-chatted, and then we got back. So we didn't get back till about 10 o'clock on Monday night. And so you can imagine this 56-year-old body needed a couple of days to kind of recoup from all that activity. So it was a great time. We had a great time, and can't complain. Lived the rock star life for a few days anyway.
Hello, California. We are
like they say at the end of like they say at the end of all the teams meetings. Since I didn't take up your full 2 hours, I'm going to go ahead and give you back an hour and 40 minutes back on your life. So
there you go.
We'll be able to still fit a show in here.
Yeah. And now, Timmy, I know you're tired from talking, but you know, you got to do your next segment.
let me warm up for this one. Hold on.
Get ready.
Would you like some birds feeding?
No, well, you could start it. You can
feeding the ducks. Feeding the ducks.
Yeah, because like we'll contrast the delivery. I'm gonna say, like, you know, good evening, Instagram, X platform, and YouTube. You wanted the best. You got the best. Oh, by the way, Ace Frehley played too. You wanted the best. You got the best. Hey, everybody. everybody, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Wednesday Night Live M3 Rock Show. Great to see everybody in the house. Let's see who we got in the house. Can't count Michelle at the top of the chat. You're not allowed to chat for. No, I'm joking. You can chat whenever you like, Michelle.
Hey, it was a welcome.
Exactly. She gave laid out the welcome mat, the red carpet, so to speak, for everybody. So let's say hello to the chit chat. We got Mallory, do it your damn self. Gates in the house. Always wonderful to see you, Mallory. How are you? We have Robert, not on a billboard on I-95, lawyer in the house. Good to see you, Robert. How are you? Always wonderful to see you. Welcome back to the show. We got Microwave, left you on 1 second. Oven in the house. Good to see Microwave. Microwave was early tonight. He was prepared. He's on time. I brought my pencil. Give me something to write on, man. Good to see you, Microwave. We got Anthony, not related to Eric Estrada, in the house. Good to see you, Anthony. Yeah. Welcome back to the show. We got I always forget. Is it B or bi? Like, am I supposed to pronounce it the vowel differently? So just if it's B, just type BE. If it's bi, just type bi. I want to make it's a BI. Now you confused me. Bi. It's bi. So I'm gonna take an I.
Lives in Georgia. Sorry.
I'm gonna take the I as a Y sound, and it's though bi. All the way from Berlin. All the way. So it's though all the way from Berlin by. No, I'm joking.
Okay, I don't know exactly what I just walked into, but I just heard a country.
Don't worry about it.
I just heard. I got something to add to this. I just heard a country quote, right? So okay, I got 2 ones, right? Okay, hey, the thing about Ireland, the population's doubling.
Good one.
Here's adding that one to my dad jokes. All right.
Here's the better one is in Dubai, they don't have access to the Flintstones. The people in Abu Dhabi do.
Abu Dhabi do.
Sorry, and you have to
that's another good one. All right.
Shake yourself, but
I'm committed.
Sorry, I don't know exactly what I walked into, but it's
Stoby. All right, so it's B. So Stoby. It's Stoby. It's Stowe all the way from Berlin B. All right, now we got it right. Oh man.
Sorry, I'm late, guys.
I broke a sweat on that one. No, but it's okay, Lindsay. It's not WWE night. I wasn't going to announce Stone Cold or anything like that. Tho was at the bottom of the list, and so that's it. That's it for now. We got 9 on the show. We got Lindsay's in the house now, so we're good to go.
Baby is in the house. Woo,
yes.
woo.
So
now you have to back up, John. Now you have to back up and ask.
I do. I have to ask Lindsay how her week is going.
Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi,
baby.
My week has been interesting to say the least, since it's on live right now too. I was supposed to host this webinar, but unfortunately I got some things that came up, so I got to cancel it. But there will be a webinar coming from THR 101.
Nice.
Might need to shuffle people around or whatnot and everything. So, but I've spent the past 24 hours kind of dealing with a few personal things, and then dealing with the rescheduling of that.
Nice.
But I got published yesterday, because Congress sucks.
Yeah, we're going to get a lot of that this year, I think. So not just on vaping, but other things. So that's why alcohol was invented. Yeah, there you go. Thanks to the Kennedys for hauling all that whiskey in from Canada back during Prohibition. Thank you, Kennedys.
Canada. I mean, okay, we're going to talk about that, dude. The only thing that's worth its salt for our alcohol is Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah, well, we got the Black Velvet, coming in from Canada back in the early. Well, I'm going to say it there, the 20s, late 20s.
And my homie.
Yeah, him and the Sicilians and the Irish came together for a cause, alcohol. Go figure.
Well, speaking of, we're gonna bring up alcohol because so we can clear the record, because I really hate when you're looking at vaping and stuff, and this whole trying to compare alcohol and vaping, and all these kids are drinking alcohol. There is no federal regulation over alcohol. Thank you to prohibition. So it's a question of maybe we should just actually have everything banned and see what the hell happens. But I don't think that the states are actually going to go rally and overturn an amendment and everything. But and that's why alcohol has is able to have innovation and stuff, because there is no federal bureaucrat.
Yeah, think about how upset all the moms would be if they couldn't get their margarita ice cream. Real margarita ice cream.
Even margarita. What I don't even get is like 2022 and the Super Bowls. The Super Bowl in 2022, and you had Guy Fieri, and then that Bud Light Seltzer, which I mean, Bud Light Seltzer already that you gotta do. That's kid. That's a freaking kid drink. Okay, that's like the new Four Loko, just without all the caffeine and stuff. If you watch the commercial of it, it's just like, oh, land of loud flavors. And what was amazing is Michelob had like this, right, like a couple beats later or whatnot, Michelob has their own commercial, and it's like, Michelob Ultra, and it's a freaking like bowling alley and like emulating a Big Lebowski and stuff. And I was like, that's a smart, responsible ad. I don't know what the hell this thing is and stuff, but and they're owned by the same company.
Yeah, they are.
Right.
I know. I asked. We did on one of my other shows. We were talking about just the difference in stuff that we went through as Gen Xers, millennials, and boomers, and I asked the millennial. I said, "What was we were all trying to figure out what was the drink of the millennials? What was their drink?" And we all looked at each other and said, "White Claw." That's their drink. Yeah,
that would be Gen Z, actually. Actually, when it was UV Blue or whatever, the vodka, the UV vodka, that was a big thing. And then Jaeger. I mean, but then I'm learning that Jaeger's always been a thing and a staple. I hate Jaeger. Ooh. And I hung out with poor people, so when they did the Jaeger bombs, it was Jaeger and Monster, yeah, exactly.
Monsters was cheaper than Red Bulls.
yeah. When they called it, my buddy Slater called
bigger
it,
bigger can.
My buddy Slater called it Free Jaeger Fridays, and it's I had bad friends in high school.
Yeah, me and the Devil's Liquor are not friends. That's what we call Jaeger, the Devil's Liquor.
I didn't realize that Jaeger actually that was really a staple. Like I thought I was like, oh wait, it's gonna be like something that happened. And then it's like, oh wait, all of you guys have like Jaeger Friday stories. Of course. Like
I have a friend. I have a friend. Are you ready? I have a friend that has this machine that sits on his counter when we'd have our Halloween parties.
Yeah.
And it holds 6 full Jaeger bottles at ice cold. And there's 6 and by the end of the night, all 6 bottles are gone.
Oh, wow.
And I end up in the bathroom on the floor asleep.
Yeah. It knocked me out.
A Jaeger bomb, kind of. I think it's really Actually, I mean, if we're gonna do like bombs and everything, the Vegas bomb is a hell of a lot better. Get some crap. Get some the apple.
I'd rather drink an Irish car bomb than a Jaeger bomb. I'll put that out there right now.
Those go down like a milkshake.
Yeah.
I might drink it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, the boys in Departure are Jaeger fanatics, and so I've been involved in those evenings several times. So a lot of Jaeger bombs, a lot of straight shots of Jaeger. They buy huge bottles of it. They go out. They actually pool their money when they go on a run, like when they take a run, like for a weekend or whatever, and they go buy like 6 to 8 bottles of the big ones, and they take that on the road with them. And we always have Jaeger shots. So I've become quite accustomed to it. I'm not a big liquor drinker overall. I'll do the shots, but Jaeger's a dangerous liquid.
It's kind of like
dangerous liquid.
Yeah, you can get pretty drunk off of it really quickly.
Well, it hits you like a Mack truck, because you're just there having a good time, and you do 1, you do 2, you do 3, you do 4. Then you kind of lost count at that point, and then all of a sudden it's like you just run right into a brick wall. And
who's been to New Orleans and had hurricanes?
Me asleep on the toilet after Jaeger night.
1.5. Forget it. You know, and that was even when I drank quite a bit. You know, at 1.5 of those, forget it. I'm gone.
Yeah.
I don't remember a thing. You know, but
I don't
you know,
remember damn thing either. I'm just
Yeah,
I just know. Yeah, I just know I like when I'm at like with Jaeger for some reason. I just know after I'm done, I want to lay on a cold floor, and only Jaeger does that.
I like drinking it. Okay, it feels
Yeah.
like it feels like cough syrup. Okay, it's not like no.
It's like if cough syrup and black licorice had a baby. That's
Yeah,
Ooh.
exactly. Hey, Tim, you have the links, right? I sent you.
I do.
Yeah.
I already have one up.
All right, perfect. Go ahead.
What's my last name, John? What's my last name?
Swifty, baby.
Yeah. No, don't tarnish it. Don't tarnish it. Don't tarnish it.
It is Swift.
All right. Let me
Related
present.
to Taylor Swift.
Let me present. Share screen. Wow, they went back to share screen. I almost got confused for a minute.
Me too. The other day I was confused.
All right.
I was drinking on that show, so
that's quite all right. So this article is from the Washington Examiner, and a different type of rag than we normally get our articles from. But this one is just, let me get rid of that part. Trump facing bipartisan pressure to crack down on those gosh darn Chinese vapes. You know, the ones everybody hates. Yeah. Exclusive. Oh my God, is this E? Is this the E network? It's an exclusive on the Washington Examiner. This is big story, folks. So this is an exclusive. President Donald Trump is being lobbied by activists on both sides of the aisle to crack down on the sale of illicit Chinese manufactured electronic cigarettes to American children and teenagers. I know, because every time I go to the vape shop, there's like 300 kids right outside the front door, just trying to barrel their way into the shop.
Hey, dude,
as I just saunter by with my 56-year-old buck, you know.
All those nicotine addicted kids are actually showing up.
Like little demons.
Help. Oh, I need help.
Clawing at the glass, you know, with their fang teeth and their pointed ears, you know, just gotta get to that nicotine.
And you got the 3 or 4 that are, hey dude, come on, man. You buy us a vape, man. Come on, dude. Be cool, man. Be cool.
Yep. I go, get out of here, you meddling kid. Get out of here. Then they try to rip the mask off of me, and then it's an old Scooby-Doo event.
Oh Jesus!
So Javier Palomares, I think I said that right, president of the Hispanic Business Caucus, sent a letter last month to the president and members of the cabinet pressing Trump to, quote unquote, here, set up an effective regulatory and enforcement framework targeting the black market vapes. Yeah. Okay, buddy. Oh no, I hope it says read more. Oh, do I need to have a plan, John?
No, you shouldn't.
It says
choose your plan.
It's telling me to either pay $1 per week or $1.92 per week.
I think you should be able to scroll. I think we should be able to scroll up.
Here, I mean, I could.
Hold on. Let's see.
You should be able to scroll up and just log in.
Do you know the gist of all
hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, just sign in. There you go.
All right. Hold on.
I mean, I would hope our viewers can read, but
they can. All right, fine, whatever, bro.
I mean, maybe we have a bunch of lawmakers that are actually watching this, so maybe they can't read. Like no budget.
Those lawmakers are saying they can afford vapes, but they can't afford $1.99.
Not for all of them that we have to look at, huh?
Tim, you can. Yeah, you can. You just cancel it after you're done, Tim.
All right, keep going.
You don't have a, I really refuse to believe that Tim doesn't have a fake email address, like an alter ego that he uses for everything else.
The traveling rock star.
Now,
things and then I'm gonna pick up some of the things I'm not supposed to be in.
Microwave, don't send me pictures of microwaves. Okay, I know you saw my email address.
Well, do you want to hear about your
all right? So now,
Sorry.
I think you're good.
What is this? Okay. All right. Right. I am good. All right.
Yeah.
So the letter obtained and reviewed by the Washington Examiner, of course, they got the big media market sleuths on this one, proposes securing the northern and southern borders to prevent cartels from smuggling black market Chinese products into the United States, tightening regulations regarding shipments received from China, whatever, and publishing new vape-related guidance for consumers and retailers. I'm having a hard time envisioning the cartel members in like little dinghies out on the water with like just sacks full of vapes.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when they get busted, you know, they're just throwing like sacks of vapes over the side.
It's like the tea, you know, overboard.
Some guy in Mexico that actually, some guy that works out a little bit in Mexico is like trying to sling a bag of vapes over the wall, you know.
And of course, you got one guy on the boat. You got one guy on the boat going, "No, not the mango, not the mango."
Yeah, or one night. So my wife and I, we you know, later in the evenings, we try to pick shows that we both can tolerate, and like one of them is like, you know, like Caught at the Border, or you know, all the where they bust people trying to bring drugs in, and like I can see it now, like some guy in like a seedy like white van, you know, gets pulled over crossing the border, and they're pulling like the panels off the van, like, oh my God, he's got 8,000 vapes shoved up in a secondary gas tank. It's a false wall, everyone. It's a false wall.
Jesus.
Look at what we did. We saved America.
Oh,
God dang it, man. At any rate, more often. Exactly. It's like, I know the spot. It's always behind the dash.
Yeah.
You know, they're ripping out the whole dash, and like out falls a fake Geek Bar mango vape.
Yeah.
Like, look, I bet there's more in there. Get out the vape dogs. Get out the vape dogs. Good boy. He hit on this man. No, don't worry about the fentanyl and shit. Get the vape.
The vape. Oh shit.
Sorry guys, we're just having too much fun.
I needed this today, so thank you.
Secure the borders over a disposable vape. All right, more authorizations will provide us with a working market with safer products. Well, no shit, Sherlock. That's what we've been trying to do the whole entire time.
Can I interrupt for a second on this one?
Absolutely.
The authorizations. I mean, I've been yelling. I'm still amazed with the whole like directory bills, at the state level. Like, I'm impressed. I'll give tobacco companies like kudos. Like, how the hell did you convince conservative lawmakers to like endorse a federal process? One, and then you got conservative think tanks that are endorsing this one, even though 2 years ago they were bitching about the same fucking process, the PMTA. Kudos. That's awesome marketing. I mean, I give credit where credit is due. I might not agree with what the hell they're doing, but hey, it worked on it. And so what I have been seeing is that the tobacco companies are now moving towards more of that authorization language. If you look at some of these companies, you know, quarterly reports or whatnot from like 2 years ago, they're going after illicit vapes, blah blah blah. And I'm sorry, the only illicit vapes that there are is fucking dank vapes. Okay. Yeah. This is not an illicit vape. Okay. I paid a fucking tax on it. Okay. Dank vapes, I bought them. I never paid a tax on them, and I got them from a guy on the street, literally. So I really hate using that term and disregard some of my op-eds that, you know, kind of like go into those. But the authorization language, you never really started to see that until the past year. Actually, that they're like, and good. You need to. I mean, you can't just 34 products cannot sustain 20 million vapor.
Right.
So sorry, go back, Tim. I didn't mean
to all truth. More enforcement will stop illegal imports and protect consumers. More transparency will provide clarity for businesses, retailers, and law enforcement, the letter concluded. But I think the most poignant sentence is this one right here. So why can't we just simply work on reasonable authorizations for vape manufacturers and liquid manufacturers to go ahead and make those safer vapes, rather than?
I hate to go Rodney King on your ass. Why can't we all just get along?
Exactly.
Yep.
Like you're basically opining for the thing that we've been fighting for all along, instead of the path that you've taken, where you're like, yeah, just get rid of it all, ban it all. But now you're upset about Chinese vapes coming into the country. Well, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, and your word of the day is opining. Opining.
Exactly.
Word. That's an awesome word. Yes.
Use that one in Scrabble, folks. I guarantee you it's a triple word play.
My word for the past 2 days has been sycophant.
Sycophant. That's another one. That's a really good one. Yep.
It took me and the boyfriend like about 2 days, because it was like, what do you call this type of person? He's like, there's a word for it. And then it's like, I haven't heard that word in a while. And then that's a sexy word too. Even when you go up and like on Google, they even give you a word that if you don't really know actually what that word is to describe this word. So
if you can't use that word.
For all of our viewers and stuff, a sycophant is that person that's like overly needy to get favor from people in power.
Yeah.
Yes. I think other people might call that one a simp.
Simp.
I don't know the simp thing. That's a new term, and I still don't even know what that one means.
That's an old word. That's an old word too.
The best I can detect is simping is basically just kind of doing the same thing. You know, you in terms of people argue, you know, if you're just sort of like licking the boots of something they don't agree with, kind of thing. That's simping. Like, why are you simping on, you know?
Yeah, okay.
A bit of a sycophant, but simping is in relative terms. Trump has dabbled, has he?
He dabbles?
Is Trump dabbling? Trump has dabbled in vaping politics. Yeah. In 2019, he proposed a ban on selling.
You might put a hit list on you, girl.
In 2019, he proposed a ban on selling flavored e-cigarettes to deter rising teenage vaping. He then slowed the roll, eventually amended the proposed rule in 2020, allowing manufacturers to circumvent the ban by going through a pre-market tobacco application process. He also signed a bill into law raising the federal minimum age for purchasing all tobacco products, including vapes, from 18 to 21. And on the 2024 campaign trail, Trump injected himself into the debate, repeatedly vowing to save vaping. We know what he said. I saved flavored vaping in 2019, and it greatly helped people get off smoking. I raised the age to 21, keeping it away from kids. Kamala and Joe want everything banned, killing small businesses all over the country. The president said in a September 2024 post on Truth Social, I'll save vaping again. The White House told the Washington Examiner that it received USHBC's letter, but declined to comment on any forthcoming policy decisions. The Department of Health and Human Services and Homeland Security, as well as the Food and Drug Administration, also declined to comment. Not illicit Chinese vapes, folks. Look how they
did they ask China if they wanted to comment? Did China refuse to comment as well?
I'm guessing no one asked. No one asked. Youth vaping rates exploded after electronic nicotine delivery systems hit the market in the early 2000s, with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention charting a roughly 2,000% increase in the number of teenage vapers from 2011 to 2019. And while youth usage rates have slowly decreased over the past 5 years, CDC data show that in 2024, more than one.
I'm going to back up on that one. You're sitting here reading slowly decrease. They have not slowly decreased. Between 2019 and 2021, there was a 45% reduction. That is not slow progress. That's dramatic progress.
You go, girl.
But now I'm done with these assholes like fucking playing around with the stupid numbers and making more alarmism. So and you're reading them out to people. So yeah, we can clarify it on this one. For people watching 2011 to 2019, of course there's a major freaking, again, how many vape? There's like 5 vape products out in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall the last time I saw a kid with a Kanger tank.
Well, and
that was probably me.
Honestly, you wish there's more kids that actually had the mods or whatnot. I mean, they'd have some freaking weapons in school when they're dealing with bullies.
Yeah, tell me about it. They're carrying around more dangerous shit than a vape in their backpack.
Right.
More so as of last year, according to the numbers, more than 1.63 million middle school and high school students reported using e-cigarettes daily. I don't know if I believe that either. Of the total,
it's 5.4% or something.
Yeah. It's a much smaller number, and well, they're saying these kids reported using it daily. So the daily
is like 1% or something.
1.9 or 1.8 or something like that.
Right. And so somehow that equates to 1.6.
Still a hell of a lot lower than I was in high school. I mean, I graduated in 2007. Still a hell of a lot lower than I know at least 5 people in my class that we were daily smokers. And there's 120 of us, so that's 5% that were daily smoking.
Yep. Well, it always got twisted because they always were able to inflate the numbers because they were including the kids who just periodically tried it or did it once in 30 days.
They twist the numbers, they twist the narrative and everything, and policymakers, look at the federal budget. Lawmakers are stupid. Okay, what are we? $37 trillion in debt. And that's basic plus and minuses, how much money comes in, how much money goes out. So this shit.
They don't love it.
Just write that blank check.
Yep. Of that total, more than 67% reported trying to quit in the last year, while nearly 88% reported preferring flavored products to non-flavored ones.
Did they ever imagine that? Did they ever ask these kids that are like, "Nope, I love it. I have no intention of quitting. This is my." I'm crushing my
life goals. Life goals right now.
That's the question I want to know. Sorry.
I want to grow up and sell vapes out of my trunk of my car. Meanwhile, industry figure estimate that Chinese manufacturers are producing the overwhelming majority of the illicit, unregulated vapes sold in the U.S. Tobacco conglomerate Altria told shareholders during an earnings report earlier this month that 70% of black market e-cigarettes could be traced back to China, while Polaris National Security, a think tank founded by Morgan Ortagus, I'm sorry, Morgan, for your last name, Deputy U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, believes that number is not north of 90%. In a white paper last month, Polaris suggested that Chinese manufacturers will broach $200 billion in annual illicit vape sales by the year 2030.
Now, my thing here is how many of the legal vapes can be traced back to China?
Yeah.
Like 95.
I mean, hello.
I'm really done with the China argument and vapes and stuff. Walk into a freaking Walmart.
Yeah.
All right, if China's such a big bogey, man, then okay, start fucking eliminating Walmart and Wally World, especially really. At least vape shops that employ people and pay money to it. Walmart employs people and underpays them. That these people are still getting subsidies from the federal freaking government.
Right.
Yeah.
Mess.
Or they make me do it. They make me work for free. Yeah. Every time I go to check myself out.
Yeah.
Hey, you saw that Target's getting rid of all their self-checkouts.
Yeah. Target is. Yeah, I was an employee of the month last month at Walmart. I'm joking.
Oh my God.
I bagged my own shit and paid for it.
I know. And we smile while we do it when we're thinking.
Yeah.
So
I
according
checkout, guys, but personally,
the only thing that pisses me off about the self-checkout is you can't bring alcohol there. So if you have any alcohol,
why can't you? We do it at the grocery store all the time.
I do.
Not
Just
here.
call them over and say, you gotta come help me.
That's right. You live in California.
You wait, yeah. Oh, Cal.
No, we can bring it all through, bro. You just, it's an inconvenience because it stops you and it says ID check required, and then the little blue shirted person has to come over and look at your license for like a nanosecond.
I don't even look. Right.
Okay.
Is it requiring him? Yep.
Yeah, the Yinglings always last. It's like I check everything else in, and then it's like, okay, all right, come on. I'm okay with being ID'd. Okay, it's like, oh, I look young.
I don't mind that part. What drives me nuts is the sort of like the anti-theft security they put in those things, and it's like if you don't act like a friggin' robot and do exactly as it says, like in the order of events that it wants, it shuts you down. And it's like, oh, I've had to have the person come over 3 times. I'm picking up one effing thing, scanning it, putting it in the bag, and then it tells me put the thing in the bag. I'm like, it's already in the bag, and then you're arguing.
And then they say, wait a second, it didn't weigh right. It didn't weigh the right way. So now you're trying to steal again. Ding, 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 ding.
Always something. It's
the opposite of the blue light special. Right. I thought I won something. Woo, woo. No, shit.
Yeah.
According to the CDC, teenage vaping is not specifically a racial problem for Hispanic youth, with 6.1% of Hispanic students reporting daily vape usage compared to 7%.
Wait, this is the same freaking article? They just bring up
yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. It's kind of
article leading to at this point.
I
just read a lot of op-eds.
It's sell fear. It's selling more fear and buying more sympathy.
Can you go back to the top? Well, go to the top. Actually, let's do. And the next op-ed that you're gonna read or whatnot. Let's go to the top. What's the lead? Like, what is the first art? Like the first paragraph, and what the hell are they trying to sit here and say? Because this has gone all over the place. President Trump is being blocked. Oh God, do not make me. I'm not putting my face up like that to viewers. President Trump is being lobbied by activists on both sides.
What is Lindsey doing?
I didn't do that seriously. Where the fuck is the lead on this one? Okay,
that's basically it. That's the lead. It's just saying that both sides of the aisle are pressuring Trump.
Go back down so we can get the conclusions. So let's see if they suck at the beginning of it. Let's see if they can actually summarize it and bring it back.
And then they got into Mr. Blamaire's one contingent of the Hispanic Business Caucus, and he wrote a letter saying that we need more effective regulatory blah blah blah.
Trying this fucking crap. I mean, it reads like some asshole just got a paycheck from a tobacco company.
Well, according to this, a lot of the article was effectively based on them coming into possession of a copy of this letter. That's kind of where it manifested itself. And then now they're trying to substantiate the reasoning behind the letter and this guy, requesting stronger regulation and using these numbers to kind of substantiate why they're asking for these regulations.
Okay, go back to the Hispanic kids. I'm seeing where the hell it's leading to. Okay,
I'm sure we're gonna hear about a valley before all this is over. So
I'm sure.
Don't bring that out. Out of sight, out of mind.
Hispanic students reporting daily vape usage compared to 7% of Black students and 5.9% of white students. Let's take demographics into consideration here. Minority versus majority, right? So that these numbers are going to look a little inflated. However, Blamire said in an interview that beyond the obvious health concerns, the black market vape trade is causing a significant confusion among USHBC's membership of more than 4.5 million. membership.
I'm going to interrupt for a second. Just again, we're live and everything. So the confusion, it's starting a confusion right now is literally the assholes that are trying to eradicate their own declining marketplace to have a monopoly on the existing THR marketplace that was created by consumers.
True.
Sorry, go on.
Okay, so I need to understand why people join this particular organization as a member. So they're getting money, probably subscription amounts from these people. So then he goes on to say, we're finding that some of our own members, shame for shame, are selling this stuff, not even knowing that it's illegal. And so that's concerning as all get out.
Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, Jesus Christ. Oh God.
Okay. He's using
I want to actually, you got a script and some asshole writing it. Keep going. I want to hear the rest of this.
Think about an illicit vape. I want everyone just a moment. Just think about an illicit vape for just a moment. Think about an illicit vape. It's very easy to package, very light. It has an amazing shelf life.
Don't call them illicit vapes. Think of disposable vapes. The only illicit vapes are dank vapes. I'm sorry. I'm not. I've used it a couple times on my own op-eds and blame ChatGPT, and I try to actually cut that out and stuff because I don't. Yeah, I mean, I call them unregulated vapes. Which guess what? That's 99% of the market.
Right. Well, that's the more proper term. But they're going to use these darker words to make it seem worse than it really is. I just don't think that there's a massive influx of the illicit ones that are actually not coming through some kind of generalized manufacturing facility in China that Geek Bar knows exactly what's coming over here. Think about it. Okay, so we're on to thinking about an illicit vape. Obviously, there are no regulatory or health issues or permitting that you need to worry about. It takes up very little shelf space. It's got a great profit margin. Obviously, there are no regulatory or health issues or permitting that you need to worry about.
Are you still reading this? Is this actually in the friggin' op-ed?
Yes. This is him. This is Mr. Blamire speaking. So he's speaking.
All right. I was just like, wait, okay. Keep going.
Blamire even suggested that American politicians' focus on the fentanyl trade is incentivizing black market Chinese producers and the cartels who carry their product across U.S. borders to prioritize the vape trade over other contraband.
Isn't that a kick in the head and seeing that,
we're getting blamed for that now, huh?
Right. So now, So now they're saying, well, you got too many eyeballs on the fentanyl. Go ahead and increase the vape trade. It's China manufacturing this stuff, but it's the cartels that are carrying them into the United States.
Right.
Continued. It's clear to me were it not for the Chinese manufacturers being incentivized to do this, because there are loopholes all over the place, and we're not enforcing, and a willing cartel that's more than willing to carry it across the border, we wouldn't have this problem. Blamire has also said Chinese manufacturers are specifically targeting young Americans through the use of flavored nicotine products and packaging with bright colors or animals, and even suggested that some Chinese e-cigarettes sold in U.S. markets are clearly labeled not for sale in China. They won't sell this shit to their own kids, but they're selling it to ours. And it enrages me that he's a person. For 4 years, this thing languished out there, he said. The Chinese jumped right through that loophole and, are making hundreds of millions of dollars on this market, Blamire
asshole. Sorry, not you guys.
Mr. Blamire needs to go back to
he needs to go back into his mom's vagina. Okay.
Public speaking 101 at least.
You ever look at somebody you wish that you should have been swallowed or aborted?
Blamire, a self-identified known Democrat, said he was disappointed with former President Joe Biden's approach to curbing tobacco consumption. What were you disappointed about? He was going to take away menthol. He was going to ban menthol cigarettes. He was going to ban vaping. I mean, what do you mean you were disappointed? He was your Jesus, wasn't he?
Pretty much.
Biden pursued.
Are you guys going to go through my op-ed from yesterday, by the way?
What's that?
My op-ed. I mean, I think it'd be the one like "fuck you, Congress."
We should read that one. That would be our rally moment, right? We love to read all the we love to read all the daunting. Well, these I think
that op-ed got freaking rejected a lot of times and everything before it finally saw the light of day. All right, and if you weren't a depressive,
we got time. We got time.
Okay. Sorry.
So no, you're fine. Biden pursued 2 smoking-related regulations during his term in office: a ban on menthol and other flavored cigarettes.
Not cigarettes, flavored cigars.
Yes. And in late 2024, an effort to mandate low nicotine levels for all combustible cigarettes, which would have effectively banned all products currently available in legal markets. That would have gone on forever. Drug policy and law enforcement experts argued widely at the time that Biden's rules were regressive and would disproportionately affect communities of color and would drive a surge in black market sales. Well, all this shit you're doing is driving a surge in black market sales. That's kind of basically what this whole article is about. Yeah. Trump rescinded the flavor cigarette rules shortly after entering office, but his FDA reintroduced and amended a version of Biden's low nicotine standard in late February. I have higher hopes that this administration will work with us on this issue than I ever did with the last administration. I hate to say it, but that's the truth, Blamire has explained. The matter is also gaining some traction on Capitol Hill. A bipartisan group of lawmakers, including Reps Dusty Johnson, Raja Krishnamurthy, who is now, I believe, trying to run for the Senate seat.
Krishnamurthy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
he's trying to backfill the vacancy of Durbin.
I actually hate one of the biggest reasons that I hate my ex-boyfriend is when we were looking at places to buy when I was still living in Illinois, like 3 years ago. I really tried to buy this place in Des Plaines only so I could be in Krishnamurthy's district, so I could show up at his freaking Capitol office and then be like, well, I'm your constituent now, bitch. Now you're gonna hear about tobacco harm reduction.
He'd be hiding under his desk every day.
I rode a plane with him once, and it was really hard for me to actually like try to go and like sit up next to him and stuff. But I mean, it's a plane. It's like,
make him sweat a little bit.
Air marshals out here, whoops, on me. But it's funny because we were walking through O'Hare, and we both looked at each other. We kind of recognized each other. We just couldn't really just place each other. I was like, oh, I think that was fucking Raja. And then, when I walked into the plane, I was like, that was Raja. Raja was on the plane with me. Crap. Like, do you want to hear about, I wanted the underwater person. Do you want to hear about, I don't even care if we're stuck on a tube for the next 2 hours going to DC. You're going to hear about this.
Exactly. That actually might have been a really good opportunity.
If I was the constituent, yes. Okay, again. And
right. Yeah.
If you're the constituent, harass the hell out of them. They need it.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. That would have been a good story to tell. And John,
asking people to bail me out, like, help me.
Ma'am, you're gonna have to get off the plane.
Cook County is not a jail you want to hang out in.
No. And I don't know who this guy is. Another Republican, John Molinar, sent a separate letter to the administration in March, urging the president to mobilize the executive branch to combat this serious issue, including by pursuing, as appropriate, civil and criminal penalties, both against companies who unlawfully export to the United States and the distributors who sell them to America's children. Still, one senior Trump administration official told the Washington Examiner that anti-Chinese vape activists are facing some administrative roadblocks created by the president. In addition to increasing regulation enforcement, anti-vaping activists have called on Trump to place new penalties on American companies relating to the sale of illicit e-cigarette products. I think we're getting to the bottom.
Using government to knock out your competition. That's so conservative. Yeah. Way to go.
Go to that Trump's skinny budget. Go to that one. Sam, just go straight to that one.
I agree with you, corporate Jason. It is too much politics. Like there really doesn't need to be a political issue over this whole entire situation, full stop, to begin with.
Nope.
Really, what I think the collective just feels like you need, reasonable regulation and enforcement. The kids, need to be. The kids are going to get them anyway. It doesn't matter how much it's like.
I don't give a shit about the fucking kids anymore. Okay, 2019, an anomaly, right? But yeah, when 20% of kids are vaping, fine. And even though most data scientists will fucking sit there and tell you this is weird, okay, it pops up, it goes back down. There's 5.5% of kids that are vaping. I don't fucking give a shit about kids vaping. I do not. Like, they're acting like all these kids are addicted to nicotine. Honestly, no, all these kids are depressed. And maybe because they don't have nicotine in their life, that's why they might be depressed.
That's right.
That's right. All very true. Trump's skinny budget calls for defense spend. I don't know why they title it this way. Anyway, however, an executive order Trump signed shortly after entering office, which requires the federal government to take 10 regulations off the books for every new one added, could complicate that. I would guess that
the Constitution works.
I would guess that this is pretty low on the president's to-do list. The official granted anonymity to discuss sensitive matters, told the Washington Examiners. Still, if Robert Kennedy gets on board, that could change. He's there and haven't heard anything about it yet. Right now, we've heard about a lot of different stuff, just not that.
And you got McCary, that's Food and Drug Administration. Like, the Kennedy's HHS, McCary's the FDA guy. There's word on the street, at least I've heard from, that they're looking at somebody from like the deputy director for Center for Tobacco Products might be announced for soon. And I've seen how the administration kind of goes after people and stuff. I mean, sorry.
I think the reality is that we're all kind of hanging around with bated breath to see what's going to happen, and unfortunately, we got another 3.75.
Say something I'm going to regret
No.
later.
I just we've got a long 3.75 years to go yet, and so we're actually. Especially if you watch the Australian elections and everything, and wow, that's a lesson of what you do when you do lose and stuff. But I do think that next year in the midterms, that Congress is going to get really reshuffled a lot, and maybe we might actually see one of this with for the record, I hate all of them. Okay, I don't care if you have an R or D, you're a lawmaker, you suck. And that's why. I'm disappointed I wasn't allowed to register as an anarchist and everything. Burn it all down. I think, in the midterms that you're going to see a sweeping win from the other side. And actually, you might actually start seeing some independents actually come out. Yeah, I kind of felt like that might be it just because it's so tense, with sort of what I think people feel as though the only two choices that you have, that we've created such a divide either way that people have lost sight of trying to find middle ground anywhere. Yeah. And I think if the next big political movement will probably be those moderate independents that are trying to look at it from both spectrums. And I sooner or later, people are just going to explode. Well, it's driving everybody nuts. Do you know what I mean? It just that's the sense that I get, is like you're forced to pick a side. You're forced to only agree here or agree there and stand your ground. It's like sooner or later, people are going to get tired of having to resist those two polar opposites, that there's going to be a big flood of middle ground people like, hey, look, let's consider both arguments and try to find some happy middle ground somewhere. I mean, the Libertarian Party never really worked. They're there, what I mean?
Right.
discredit my ass, okay?
No,
I mean,
I'm not. I'm just saying. I think there's only been a few times in history where like they really
Actually,
they were at the forefront. The rest of the time, it was pretty much
2016 with Donald Trump. But that was the funny thing too, is a lot of people forget that Donald Trump really wasn't celebrated by Republicans when he first ran. I mean,
no, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't.
15 and I told everybody, because like I go to dive bars, I hang out with the common folk, so to speak, and stuff. I'm sitting here at this party. I was rooting for lawmaker and all these like real, true, like hard Republicans. I was like, yeah, he's gonna win this, and they all looked at me like I was crazy. And stuff. I was just like, he's gonna win this. I mean, go hang out in America. I really did want to see him. I really did want to see him get reelected in 2020. Actually, you know, and see what he would have done. Now it just feels like with this term, it's like he's back. You know, it's kind of like a bad sequel. You know,
he's fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'd be back.
Well, no, it's actually more of like Ben Stiller and the what's that movie where Ben Stiller did that Tropic Thunder, and that Ben Stiller's like his movies, the Iceman guy. Boom, he's back. He means business.
He's back. He's back. Back again.
And thank God for the Supreme Court, though. Like I studied government. That's like, you know, that's why I fell in love with vaping too, because God, that's a civics lesson. But thank God for the Supreme Court. That's why I'm not I'm not one of those crazy people. Oh, Trump's gonna ruin us and everything. Supreme Court is checking his ass. Congress has been useless for the fucking past 200 years. Okay.
Yeah.
They might as well just get. You know, they've been on their knees for presidents dating back to Jefferson. So,
well, yeah, I've said much to the same. I'm like, it doesn't matter which administration comes in; it's always the same thing. Nothing ever gets done. Nothing ever gets done.
Congress is supposed to have the most power. If you read the Constitution, they have the most like delegated power to them. But nope, they've acquiesced it, like going back to Jefferson and the Louisiana Purchase. So and then, God, Andrew Jackson and Lincoln, and then boom, after Lincoln, it was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
Agree there, Robert. Yeah, totally agree with you there. I think
same coin. So to bring this, actually, thank you, Robert, because here's we'll bring this back to vaping now, because I've been sitting here. It took me a minute. Tobacco control, big tobacco, big health.
Yeah,
two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, exactly. Both kind of working against us. So anyway, yeah, I would love if we could remove the politics from all of that.
They work in tandem with each other, but they work, you know, against us.
Yeah, I think the answer to a lot of it is, you know, you focus on the issues that you're concerned about, and you try to work hard, or you know, in many cases, you hope for the best in those situations. But you got to turn the TV off. You got to get off of X. I mean, it's depressing.
Well, I mean, you reminded me of Bill Hicks. Yeah, war, famine, depression, recession. War, famine, depression, recession. Yeah. You look out your window and you're like, where is this all happening? Go outside, people. Go and hang out with your neighbors.
I guess the unique disparity there is that you end up going, when you stop looking at that stuff and then you just go out into the world and you start just hanging around people, like it's not happening. You know what I mean? Like this vortex of chaos is not going on at the M3 festival. It's not like we got like two parties on either side of the amphitheater shooting spitballs at each other with, like, you know, political epithets on it. We're like all there for the same reason, for music and having a good time. It's like no one's talking about all the other shit. So I think, you know, if you stop focusing on the microcosm that's media, that's just feeding fear and all that other stuff, or lies most of the time. Most of the time, it's just blatant lies.
Look at the immigrant situation in America right now. If you listen to the right-wing media, right, every immigrant's a rapist. You listen to left-wing media, every immigrant, you know, is some homeowner that's been here for 30 freaking years and stuff. I know at some point that there's been like, and yeah, I'm not gonna sit here because this is gonna start too many problems, but like There's somewhere in the middle of all of this. And also, by the way, yeah, if you go look up at the prison,
racist.
95% of rapists, and actually, that in 2022, 95% of them are U.S. citizens.
Yes.
So, and that's a whole but I mean, if you and it's like you're focusing, the microisms or the I can't pronounce that one right now, but focusing on one story and then just throwing it, and God, it goes.
Jeffrey, I don't own a bear. Zamora is in the house. We got James Spallone in the house. Good to see you, James.
Jeffrey, hey.
Hi, James.
People snuck in here. In the meantime, we got Steve Emoji King Tottenham in the house. Good to see you. We got Don Shirakalako in the house. Good to see you, Don. We had. I think we may or may not still have Corporate Jason, but Corporate Jason did join the show.
Corporate Jason's.
So we had a few people sneak in. So John, do we want to move on to article number dos?
Sure.
It's gonna be my op-ed, okay? I mean, I'll let you guys critique it. I'd love it actually.
Well, definitely, I'd love to do that. All right, I'll read really fast. This was sort of a good news story, though, right? This one's somewhat good news, even if temporary. Right? So let me present. Then let me share. I'm going to present, then I'm going to share. So today we're sharing it's show and tell, folks. We're going to share this article. This is what I found on my way to school. So federal judge grants injunction, blocks Iowa PMTA registry for now. Mr. Jim McDonald. A federal judge has issued an injunction preventing the state of Iowa from enforcing its PMTA registry law while a lawsuit challenge the registry plays out. Chief Judge Stephanie Rose of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Iowa found in favor of the vaping industry plaintiffs yesterday. Registry Bill HF 2677, and I actually printed out George's bill. I have it right here, so whenever I have to walk into the vape shop, I'm going to be like, hey, y'all don't listen to me. Maybe read this article. Registry Bill HF 2677 was passed by the state legislatures last April and signed into law by the governor in May. An Iowa Vaping Industry Association, IFAST, along with several individual businesses, sued the state.
Way to go, Sarah. I want to say Sarah. I might be wrong, but yeah.
I'd never heard of IFAST. In December 2024.
Sorry.
That's okay. Seeking to block enforcement of the law, which was set to begin in February. The Iowa Attorney General agreed to pause enforcement until a motion for a preliminary injunction was heard by the court. Judge Rose agreed with the plaintiff's claim that the Iowa registry law violated the U.S. Constitution's Supremacy Clause, stepping on the FDA's sole authority to enforce regulations enacted under the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which is part of the Tobacco Control Act. The state, she said, cannot choose to enforce rules the FDA has already exercised its discretion to ignore. As plaintiffs correctly observed, Congress deliberately centralized FDCA enforcement authority in the FDA through Section 337A, recognizing that inconsistent state enforcement regimes would undermine the federal regulatory approach. Judge wrote in her order, Iowa's acknowledged purpose in enacting House File 2677 to address federal non-enforcement precisely illustrates why Congress vested enforcement authority exclusively with the federal government. The law is now blocked until the district court hears the lawsuit challenging the Iowa law. VTA files lawsuit challenging North Carolina registry. The basis of the Iowa lawsuit may offer challengers of the other registry laws a successful approach in their lawsuits. Attorney Eric Heyer of law firm Thompson Hine LLC filed a similar lawsuit April 30th on behalf of the Vapor Technology.
This is the guy who testified in front of the Supreme Court.
Yes, I recognize the name.
Yeah.
Challenging North Carolina's newly enacted PMTA registry law, the VTA will file a motion for a preliminary injunction next week. And that's it.
That's it.
So,
That's Jimmy's article.
So once again, we're bought a little bit of time in certain places. Remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. So I guess what we'll wait to see is if more people get injunctions.
North Carolina, Jeffrey, so you're saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
hey Jeffrey, North Carolina is God's country, okay? And from an American that was born in Texas, raised in Michigan, okay? North Carolina, you got the mountains, the beach. It's southern, but not bless y'all's heart southern. They got the Research Triangle, and then also the best thing, Bojangles.
Well, you're upsetting a lot of Texan people here because Texas is God's country. It's always been God's country.
Oh God, I'm from
no, Cajun country.
Jesus. Texas is actually its own country, okay? If you really want, if you go through one part of Texas, then you go to a different part of Texas, and you feel like you actually did step out of the United States. No, you're in the same state. I will give it credit. I'm Texas. Again, I'm with it. By the way, Michelle, like I'm loving Florida. Okay, I'm a Floridian and stuff, especially where I'm at. You know, I'm about 40 minutes away from the beach. The best beaches in the world. In the world.
They're gorgeous, aren't they? They really are.
Monday was like the perfect day. There was no waves going on and everything. It's like, oh, these are the turquoise waters and the white sand.
All right. I asked Google, and Google says that God's country is a vast western states, particularly Wyoming, Montana, and Utah.
No.
God's country. God's country.
Yeah. Okay.
Google.
Nope. Dead wrong.
God, no.
It says some states like Colorado are also frequently associated with the phrase due to the stunning natural landscape.
No, depending on where you're at, maybe, but no.
Hey, Tennessee was really beautiful when I went down there. In the beginning of or middle of March or whatnot. It's funny because
It's pretty.
I drove up to Knoxville, and then like the idea was I was to drive from Knoxville and go to the Capitol in Nashville, and then just drive down 65 to get back to Florida. And then they cock-blocked me and everything. So I drove whatever the interstate is, but it was really pretty actually. I was like, this is pretty. I was like this, driving through the mountains and everything. Following a vape advocate who I had asked before we drove, I was like, how fast do you go? And he's like, not that fast. Oh no, he hauled ass. And so I'm like trying to keep up in my little tiny car, hoping that none of us get pulled over.
Well, the thing is it's beautiful country until it snows.
Yeah.
Then you got to drive the mountain. And it's like, forget it.
On the highway, no, not in the snow. I mean, I am from Michigan, so I know how to drive in the snow, but
but not on those mountains with no railings and drop-offs. And no. It's beautiful country, but in the snow, no. I've never catch. That's why flat property is the best. You just want flat. You can see everything around you.
That's perfect for a tornado to come through. Boom.
Yeah. But at least you can see it coming.
Yeah, true.
House and run. Okay, Dorothy.
If you're living in the middle of a valley, you don't even see it when it's coming at you.
I thought for a second Michelle was going to say, all you got to do is tap your shoes 3 times. I swear to God, I thought she was going to say that. No place like home. No place like home. No place like home.
I used to have a pair of red shoes, and then I realized that once I wore them once, I was allergic to the red number 40, so I got hives everywhere.
Oh, you should be an advisor to Kennedy right now.
There's a doctor on X, man. I am always saying, he's saying, you can take the chemical, or you can't take the chemicals out of food, and he's obviously he doesn't think that anyway, it's a whole big thing with me.
So. You bring that up because we can bring it back to vaping. Like that one kid that had the seizure every time he vaped. Well, clearly, something is wrong with you. You have an allergic reaction to
everything.
I imagine too with that kid, it's just like I really wanted to be like, can I ask his mom, like, does he have a peanut allergy as well? I mean, and like some people do. I mean, your bodies are freaking weird and everything. So you might have actually an allergic reaction to nicotine. And so don't blame the vape asshole, like blame your mom for that not and also
doing something.
Actually,
blame your mom for doing heroin while she was pregnant.
If I was his mom, I would have given
There you go.
Pardon me? What did you say?
I said blame your mom for doing heroin when she was pregnant.
Well, I know for sure my mom did not, but I've got a lot of allergies. I know I have a lot of allergies.
My mom did have a lot cooler.
I think you get them. I think you get them. You start getting more of them as you get older. Like I've never been allergic to anything like allergies. Now that I'm when I got into about 51, 52, now all of a sudden I have allergies to plants and some other, which I never had before.
Like seasonal allergies are actually, there's a difference. Allergies.
Seasonal allergies. I've never had seasonal allergies. I've never had those before.
I know they
in my
say
entire
that
life.
Every 7 years your body completely changes skin and everything, and so every 7 years you can get more allergies, and some you may lose in that time. But I'm allergic. More as well.
I'm only allergic to getting married.
You've lived in the same place, right? Like allergies come up. Like I'm getting allergies this year. Like when I went out to the beach on Monday, it was weird because it was a combination between sunblock getting into my eyes, and then also like, oh my god, I'm on the beach and everything, and just and allergies and stuff. But I've moved to a lot of different places. Like Michigan doesn't have pollen the way that Florida does.
No, Florida has it everywhere.
The only thing I'm allergic to right now is getting married. So
me too. Me too. Boyfriends and marriage. Yes.
You want half.
Run away. I mean, unless they're gonna, pay my mortgage, then fine. Maybe we'll talk.
But you only have to stick around for 30 years, and then you can go wherever.
And that's a long time.
See the guys that I'm dating, they're not going to stick around for 10 years.
Hey, the new thing, we did this on our other show, but the new trend that's going on, it's not just older people, but Gen Z, millennials, and Gen Xers are actually sleeping in separate rooms. That's a new trend that's going on. It's like you go to your room, I go to my room and sleep. Because they're getting my
ex-boyfriend, that would maybe we'd still be together if we had that policy.
They're saying the couples are getting better night sleeps because they're not one's not tossing and turning, one needs the fan on, one wants the window open, one wants the TV on or music playing. Now you're going into your own room, you're still married, same house, but you're going in your own room, your own bed, and you can control the climate, the TV, the fan.
Then why don't you just bring back 1950s with this, the twin beds?
Yeah, really.
The same room.
That was the same room, because you might have the snoring husband that just when he snores, the doors are like flapping.
You actually, you've been married and in love and like love the person. Could you actually do that? I mean, like.
I would have. Because only reason I would have done it is because she had to have the fan on full blast, and the other reason was it actually would have benefited her because I used to come home at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I always felt bad that I would wake her up getting into bed. So having my own room would have been to her benefit because I wouldn't be waking her up at 4:30 in the morning getting into bed. So I would have went down with it. I mean, you still have the rest. You're still married. You still have the whole house to yourself. I mean, but
at that point, when you're not sleeping next to each other, something tells me that like the other hours of the day aren't so pleasant either. If you want to be
but they're waking up refreshed and they've gotten good night's sleep.
I grew up with the worst parents. Okay, my parents love each other. All right, they love each other. Go on vacation.
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too.
Finishes work, she calls him, even though she's going home to him and stuff. And it's like, wow, you guys could not be like. They can be more closer if you freaking put them in a freaking sleeping bag. Okay?
If fighting for a blanket, fighting for the fan, fighting to keep the window open and closed, TV on.
Yeah, no,
I get it. I get it. I get it. I think everyone's lifestyle.
My mom goes to bed early, and my dad like goes in there later, and just you know, I mean, yeah. If you love the person, you just get into the schedule on that one.
Lindsay, you had an article.
The way it should be. That doesn't mean it works.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it works. Yeah.
And my parents are 1 in a million. Okay, when actually no, there's a couple of vape advocates out there like Nick and Dolores. You know, those are really good power couple. Danny and Crystal from Tennessee, awesome. I actually stayed at their house and stuff, and you could see how close they were and everything. And that was nice to sit there. Like, love still exists. Might not exist in your life, Lindsay, but like it's there.
Somebody has it, right?
Yeah, Lindsay.
Good for them.
Lindsay, do you want to read your article? Would you like Tim to do it?
I want Tim to read it.
Okay, I'm on THR 101 right now. Is it the one?
I sent it in the private chat.
It's in the private chat.
All right, much easier. Okay, hold on. All right, let me drag this sucker over to this side. Hold on.
This is the one I will not comment on because it's my own writing. Let's see what happens.
Can she argue? You could play devil's advocate.
Dangerous, derogatory, harmful, unreliable. These are the labels.
Oh, no. That's just me. You know,
is this an illicit Chinese vape? Is this an illicit Chinese vape? I'm just asking before I read it.
Yeah, this is one about Congress. Actually, this is good. This is
mango. Is it a mango flavored article? Okay. Let me share the tab. And
there better be some mango in there.
All right. Let me add the stage.
No mango.
Bang, right there.
Hey,
now that's a picture right there.
That's a good photo.
Hey,
look at that.
I like it.
That majestic RTA right there.
Okay, not me.
That's dual chambered too, kids. Look at that sucker. You got and a lower chamber.
Yeah, that's an actual real mod. Shit, way to go.
It's not.
Hey, Tim, you remember those mods?
I do. I got some of them sitting on the shelf right back.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I think I have one just like that. I don't have the Addy like that.
Fall far from the tree. By yours truly, everyone, Lindsey Stroud. She's asked for a critique on her op-ed.
So be honest, people in the chat.
All right, everyone, be nice.
All right, and also, everyone, I am posting the link to the article in chat. So if you want to go read it after we're done, not now though. Tim's going to read it for you.
Reread it. It's a really good article, and I'm not just saying that because she's here.
I'm pretty proud of that.
Serious. That was a very good article.
Got rejected 3 times.
Michelle has set the bar. Michelle has set the bar.
It is way up here, people. It is way up there.
If Congress wants real solutions to so-called illicit vapes, real reform, not lip service, is required. Another day, another congressional hearing where well-meaning but misinformed federal lawmakers, maybe dense is a better term, grilled witnesses over the Biden administration's handling of consumer protection issues. On April 9, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform held a hearing titled Restoring Trust in the FDA. I don't know if that's possible. Rooting out illicit products. Lawmakers sharply criticized the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's performance under the Biden administration, citing regulatory failures, food safety lapses, the mishandling of the infant formula crisis, and lack of clarity around hemp regulations. Of particular focus was the FDA's inability to prevent the flood of illicit and counterfeit nicotine products into the U.S. market and its sluggish review of safer nicotine alternatives. While lawmakers are correct that the FDA needs serious reform to address the ongoing tobacco epidemic, more hearings aren't the solution. Instead of wasting time and taxpayer dollars on performative oversight, Congress should fix the very laws that have hampered innovation and limited adult access to less harmful alternatives to cigarettes. Amen. As Guy Bentley of the Reason Foundation noted during the hearing, it is currently easier for manufacturers to bring to market combustible cigarettes, cigars, or pipe tobacco than safer alternatives like e-cigarettes, heated tobacco products, or nicotine pouches. ironically walked into a gas station. The last stop we basically made before getting back home on Monday. And it was I don't know, it was just weird in the sense that when you went up to the counter, like there was this massive friggin' display right behind the guy. Like literally he could have turned around and like probably hit his head on it, full of Zyn pouches. Like it was huge. Like it took up like almost the whole entire counter space. And then the cigarette thing was like behind that. So they were certainly like pushing the Zyn, you know, in favor of the cigarettes hidden behind it. So I don't know if that was a marketing tactic by the tobacco companies. I'm not sure.
Well, okay. To interrupt for a second too, and I heard this. I forget at one point. This is a couple years ago too. One of the companies actually, one of the big tobacco companies is actually buying out the space and stuff, you know, because they pay for spaces for you, so you can have it where it's at and stuff. And they were buying them out even though they didn't even have fucking products in there, just to make sure that that other product can't go in there. Baller fucking move. And I'm a free marketist. But
no, I mean, that does happen. It just was odd to me because normally there's a bit of a balance, like in the same thing. But I kid you not, this like you could barely see the cigarette thing like, in the back. Like you could see like maybe like one small little you know sliver of it, but you couldn't see the rest of it. All you saw was Zyn.
As some tobacco person told me that actually like sells those products and shit. You know, Zyn's gonna be the Joe Camel.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
No, I'm not gonna tell you actually said that because I'll get in a lot of trouble. Yeah. But all the people, if they're watching it that know this, they'll know exactly who the hell I'm talking about. Sorry. Okay, go on. It's not too bad.
This disparity stems from Congress's 2009 Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act, which mandates that all new tobacco products undergo the pre-market tobacco product application process, a lengthy, costly, and opaque system that has become a public health failure in more than a decade. The FDA has authorized just 76 products through this pathway, while thousands of more harmful combustibles continue to be sold under the far less rigorous substantial equivalence process. Worse still, only 34 e-cigarette products, all in tobacco or menthol flavors, have received FDA authorization. This is grossly inadequate for the more than 20 million American adults who vaped in 2023. Meanwhile, the FDA has issued warning letters, fines, and injunctions targeting both large and small manufacturers for selling so-called unauthorized products, many of which are helping adults quit smoking. Congress creates this regulatory bottleneck, yet instead of legislating solutions, lawmakers express outrage at the very consequences of the system they established. This is not the first time Congress has held hearings on vaping. In July 2019, the Committee on Economic and Consumer Policy spent 2 days interrogating Juul's role in the so-called youth vaping epidemic. Was that the same hearing where Rashida Tlaib got into it with that lady?
I believe so. No.
Yeah. No. Like, why are you winking at him? Why are you winking at him? Well, because he's my friend.
No, that's not the same hearing, though. This is one where it was just a Juul execs.
Okay.
It was Maharaja and everything. It was literally just like it's a bunch of bros on those 2 hearings. 2 days of hearings. Awesome use of taxpayer dollars. Way to go, Congress.
A lot of grandstanding.
I know the hearing that you're talking about. That's not mentioned in this article. That's after the vaping lung injuries.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So a little bit later on. This is got to there. Just months later, the subcommittee convened again to discuss e-cigarettes broadly. In 2024, former FDA Commissioner Robert Califf appeared before the full committee to discuss the agency's broader performance. Despite repeated oversight, the FDA has only intensified its efforts to eliminate safer nicotine products from the market rather than speeding up approvals or targeting illicit manufacturers. Enforcement actions have ramped up, yet the fundamental regulatory problem remains unaddressed. Compounding the problem is FDA's broken funding structure. The Center for Tobacco Products receives no federal appropriations and is entirely funded by user fees, primarily from combustible cigarette sales, which account for more than 80% of its budget. Each year, the agency requests expanded authority to apply user fees to newer products, but Congress has failed to act. This catch-22 leaves the FDA financially dependent on the very products it should be working to replace. It's no wonder that only a handful of reduced-risk products have been authorized while hundreds of new cigarettes continue to enter the market. There's still a path forward. Before youth vaping became a media firestorm, several members of Congress introduced bills to revise the arbitrary predicate date and reduce the burden of the PMTA process. Lawmakers can also pressure the agency to exercise enforcement discretion and prioritize bad actors, not American small businesses navigating an unworkable system. Sitting in hearing rooms won't solve the real issue. More than 20 million adults are vaping today, and many younger adults are functionally smoke-free by whose standards? Yet they're increasingly driven to unregulated products because of a regulatory structure that Congress refuses to fix. If lawmakers are serious about protecting public health and restoring trust in the FDA, they must pass legislation that empowers the agency, fosters innovation, and accelerates the shift away from combustible cigarettes, not just stage another hearing, which I agree. Fantastic article.
Lindsey. Wait.
Top to bottom.
That's a subdued version because it's like, oh, we're doing another fucking hearing. You got to be fucking kidding me. And what am I going to hear? I'm going to hear all the freaking crap, the same stuff. Youth developing brain. It's even worse. You got Republicans in control, and all their rhetoric is now coming from the tobacco companies. So thanks, guys. Thanks for sharing it, though. By the way, that's all.
No problem.
Nice piece, Lindsey.
Reread it when you don't have us goofies around it, and you'll probably get more because there's a lot in there.
But it is.
I pimped out that piece. Okay, so like you write an op-ed. Oh, that's you. I was like, somebody's knocking on my door. There's somebody just banging in the background.
Somebody's knocking at my front door.
But like that piece got rejected by about 3 different places.
I wonder why. Lindsey.
You go get it published somewhere. I'm not playing this game.
I got a question for you. When you write an article like that, right? You're thinking of where you can, like you just said, where you can send this article to, or do you don't do that at all? You're writing it, and you're not thinking this can I possibly get this on the San Francisco Chronicle or one of the Washington Post or the New York Times?
No. Not unless it's like a state focused piece. No. I know, honestly, what happens is I have a rant that's going on in my head, and it's funny too how bad things go. So like I start with the rant, and half the time my op-ed changes while I'm writing it and while I'm doing like research and all of that stuff. But I do, and I'm really thorough about doing my research. I'm not gonna stay here and there's a lot of think tanks that they rapid response, we're gonna respond to stuff, and you don't know anything. And I refuse to kind of be that person. Like if I'm gonna talk about something and want people to understand it, well, I need to understand it myself. So
let me share this real quick for Jeffrey. Can you guys see that? Or I don't know, man. I'm on portrait mode.
Like you're showing your phone.
It's in portrait mode. Well, the other monitor that's right here is in portrait mode. So I apologize. We're looking for a 5-minute video highlighting policy, consumer, and regional updates about tobacco harm reduction and safe nicotine products. So this is the last week, guys. Head on over there if you haven't been.
GFN's for people who don't know, GFN's awesome. Global forum on nicotine or whatnot. Awesome people running that and everything. So. And you'll be featured with a bunch of international consumers.
Yeah. So you got something, put it together. You got till I think Jeffrey said the 14th. Yeah, so the 14th. So put something together, get out there and get noticed.
Yeah. And wait, I don't know if Jeffrey's actually. If he's helping it too. By the way, don't worry about your videos, guys. Okay. you don't have to be Steven Spielberg, okay?
Right, exactly. I was gonna say the same thing, because I think a lot of people get into that mindset, and they just like, oh my God, this looks no, just get it out there.
Right now.
And I mean, every phone that everybody has out there right now, I mean, can shoot excellent video. So you don't need a DSLR camera. You don't need some $5,000 studio camera. You could use your iPhone. Believe me, people, put it in 4K mode, shoot it, and get it out there. So don't worry about it. Unless you have the 1998 Nokia flip phone still, then
hey, if we're gonna go back to like old school phones and stuff, all right, and stuff, I miss the Palm Pre. Okay, first of all,
the Palm Pre.
Okay, I miss a freaking keyboard. All right,
Yeah.
I'd be kayaking every single day if I had a freaking keyboard on my phone and stuff. I use email and everything. BlackBerry was awesome. They were supposed to come out with another one and stuff, but
my ex-wife was the Sidekick. Remember the Sidekick?
Awesome.
You remember the Sidekick? That one had the keyboard.
Yeah.
That was her phone.
Popular one. Palm Pre was the one that it was half touchscreen, half keyboard.
Yeah, the slider phones.
The sliders.
The original sliders.
Yeah.
You hit that thing down. Oof. Yeah. It did not work. It was.
How did we survive back then without having the phones we have today? How is it possible?
Don't you miss where, like, how people quit getting mad at you? Oh, I see. It's like, oh, I called you. Oh, you weren't home.
Hey, I would be cool.
Why didn't you fucking pick up?
I'd be more than happy. I would be more than happy to have a phone that didn't. I want my text messages. I still want like Instagram and maybe a couple other things, but I don't really need my 24 hours news source sent to my phone.
Last year I lost my phone kayaking, and it took me a week to get a new phone. It was actually nice. The first the first 24 hours, first you realize that, oh, I don't need my phone, but honestly, the only things that I really miss were my games that I play on my phone.
It's terrible how it's become part of us. I mean, we will do whatever we have to. Like the other day, I got halfway to work, and for once,
and to turn around.
For once, I didn't turn my radio on. See, my radio will not work unless my phone's in a car. So usually I turn my radio on first, but for some reason I didn't turn it on. Got halfway to work.
You turn on if your phone's in the like there's
a
radio
the screen.
Like that's actually like programmed in the car when you got like some super fancy smart car.
It does. Yeah, my screen won't turn on, and I'm not allowed to play any music. So it's just dead. So when I turned it on,
I thought we had just basically gotten past the part where we don't have CD players in our car. Now you're saying you can't even play music in your car unless your phone is connected.
It's linked to my phone.
You got the little tube you got to blow into the car to make it start too?
I'm getting that next week. No.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry for your DUI.
If you're already on your third one and you need that breathalyzer, you shouldn't be driving anyway.
Okay, I like what they do in Germany, but no, I heard probably about a year ago, like the people who the technology that actually tracks you the most is actually your car. This makes sense with your car. If you can't actually start the radio unless your phone's in your car is literally tracking you when you go into the fucking house.
I hope so. That way my kids can find me. When Dad has a heart attack.
1980s Ford Bronco. Hell yeah! I'm getting that one.
I'll be. Hey Siri's, call my kids. I'm having a heart attack. Oh wait, Siri's cancel.
The scariest thing about the car companies is that you don't really sign a user agreement with all the data that you're sharing, and they also sound like Apple where they just lock everything up and the court order has to do it. And about when I was listening to it like a year ago, the one thing was that like 50% of them kind of work with law agencies, but I mean. Just think about that guy in Seattle like last year that like plowed into like the crowd of people. He got like super pissed off. He had awesome music going on and shit, just increasingly getting angrier and angrier. Fuck you.
I remember that video. I remember that video.
All the cameras in his car. I was just like, Who the hell has that? Like, that's like surround.
I'll be right back. I got to make a phone call real quick.
Okay. Yeah, like my truck's a little older. It's a 2017. So my biggest accomplishment, I just mentioned it, was like I was thrilled that I finally figured out how to do Android Auto wirelessly in the car. And then everybody here is telling me they can't even fucking play music in the car unless their phone is like connected to Starlink or some shit. Come on now. You guys are freaking me out. I'm like, maybe I don't want to buy a new car.
No.
Will it even let me in the car? Am I stuck outside?
That's like those ones that don't have handles on them anymore. You have to have your phone in order to get the door handle to open for you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you have to have it.
I saw that. That's right.
Yeah,
we were looking at cars for Elena, and we know. Yeah, it's like it
had
nope,
that ain't for me.
Handless doors.
Yeah,
I think we're kind of taking.
Have you ever driven a car that's got the like homie that hangs out with you and stuff? It's the weirdest fucking shit. Like you're like gripping on the wheel and then it starts moving because you're about to cross over the line or something. And it's just like I have never with those cars. Yeah, it's like I don't even know what they call it and stuff because it's like I fucking hate that shit. It's
auto drive.
I'm like, if I'm driving the car, I need to have control on it. I already don't feel control in a car to begin with. And then no wait, here comes a robot guy like moving it on and stuff. Apparently,
yeah, that's a little trippy. That's trippy for me.
Apparently, they have driverless like semi trucks in Texas that just got unleashed. And here's the funny thing: my brother's friend. Jeremy did truck driving school last year, and he was like his training ride, and yeah, I guess this guy was pretty much a drunk driver, drank a bunch of Four Locos and everything and stuff. I guess he like comes out, the semi truck comes out of a like a gas station or what, overcorrected or whatnot. Yeah, boo, here goes all the blue lights and stuff. So every time I pass a truck, I'm just like Four Loko and everything. Yeah. Are you drunk or not? Who knows?
Well, I was gonna say they've got driverless 18-wheelers now. I was gonna say I think half the ones you pass on the freeway have been driverless long before they actually invented technology to make them driverless. Because that gets scary out there. Some of those guys, you have no choice but to pass them or get stuck trying to thread the needle, and they're like squeezing you in. A lot of that.
I've been stuck between like trucks that are like in front of me on either side, and my little rinky-dinky car. That's a hair-raising experience while driving. Like, don't look at them, just keep going. You'll make it through this. You'll make it through this.
It is definitely a spooky situation, but anyway, my car's just not that technologically advanced.
What kind of truck do you have, by the way?
I have a Ford Explorer Limited from 2017. Got a good deal on that sucker too.
Ford Explorer is not a truck; that's a fucking SUV.
Correct. I call it a truck. It's a unibody truck. It's a unibody truck.
I'm thinking like truck, like Toyota. I'm thinking
not a pickup.
I'm thinking Ford Ranger. The bed and everything.
Yeah. No, I guess I just got in a habit of calling it a truck because sometimes that just sort of like when you say SUV.
I don't like driving SUVs. They're just driving a truck, actually. Just
well,
a little bit
I guess I say it to differentiate because there's just all those crossovers that are classified as SUVs, and they're more like just like a little bit of an oversized car.
Crossover is a goddamn minivan. All right, to quit calling it a fucking crossover. That's a fucking minivan.
True.
Sorry.
But I hope the guy who said cassettes, Don, cassette, everything has made a comeback at one point or another. Right? So 8-tracks were popular a few years ago. People were getting way back into the
8-tracks. 8-tracks have never come back. Vinyls are back. 8-tracks are never going to come back.
Not in full swing, but the nostalgists like to collect.
Come back.
What's on its way coming? Yeah, what's on its way coming back is CDs. CDs are got to push.
I like CDs.
Yeah, CDs. The quality. Yeah, the quality's better on a CD.
Well, no, it's not. The quality
it is.
Music audio,
I think it is.
Yeah,
it is. Records.
The format.
No, I don't like records.
forever. Yeah.
Vinyl.
And the problem that's happening right now, because CDs are coming back, I read this whole article and watched the video on it, is unfortunately some companies weren't very good with masters, and they've lost the masters, or the masters have gotten destroyed. So that's the problem is they're running into a lot of that. The people that own the masters kind of, some of these, you'll laugh, but some of these greatest albums that were ever written and sung in studios were in just people's garages, just sitting there, master tapes of these amazing artists. Just ridiculous.
You used to see Marshall Scholes or whatever, and then Rob Roberts knows a whole lot more about it. This is a rinky-dink studio. We've passed it before, and I mean, it's small.
Yeah. Well, the masters, Jim knows what I'm talking about, but like those masters that they're talking about are actually like it's the drummer by himself, the guitarist by himself, the lead singer by himself on tape. They're just high quality, and they're gone. They're gone. It's sad.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of that got lost on the way because they used to. I mean, before DAT came along, I mean, everything was done down to tape. Yeah. So that they were able to separate the tracks that way. But I mean, nowadays people don't even need studios anymore. They got so much software out there that'll blow your mind, like Pro Tools. Literally do it in a room.
Music. Well, no, okay, hold on.
GarageBand.
Real music, then you still need a studio. Okay. Acoustics,
well, if you want like the best of the best.
All you're doing is playing fucking electronic music on your goddamn computer. Yeah.
I like microwave because cigarettes better not come back. There's no push for vintage camels.
They're trying. They're trying.
Let's bring the vintage camel box back. Yeah.
I'm glad that now I struck a chord, but I know.
Unfortunately, there will be some dummies that'll be like, "Oh my god, the vintage camel box! I need to go buy some."
I gotta have it.
I've been sitting here for the past since I got let go. I've been really much a powder keg, and so thank you for letting me at least ignite a little bit of it. One of these days, I'm gonna go fucking crazy. Okay, and everybody's gonna get hit with everything. Boom, 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 boom.
I just hold on. I'll tell you what I've been doing. I'll go grab them real quick. Hold on.
Oh God, and more show and tell. Here we go.
I like show and tell. Hey, since we're doing show and tell, then since I have this up here, I'm proud. And actually, one of the vapors, and I gotta give them a shout out. They sent that to me. Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
But how cool? Okay, like. Look how big this thing is.
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
2019, baby. And actually, like one of the vapors who sent it to me was like, I don't know.
Don't get mad at me at who it is. Just that it was a good album back then.
Bill Crosby. Hey, I like Bill back then. Yeah.
And now we know why you're single.
Here you go, Timmy. Your dad probably had this album.
No, I'm pretty sure my dad had it. You want to know the one album that I used to borrow from my dad all the time? John will be able to identify with this one. But the one I used to always like snag and take for like weeks and months on end was the Smothers Brothers. Remember the Smothers Brothers?
Yeah.
Tommy and Dick Smothers. Here we go again. The Kingston Trio. My dad had that one too. But he also had the Oak Ridge Boys too. So
here you go.
Another Bill, Elvira about
another Bill Cosby.
I forget the one that my friend had, but he had one too, long time ago. God, now you're bringing back memories. Not fair.
We've only just begun.
Yeah.
The songs. What is that?
Montavani. Oh my Lord. What is that?
Hey, I've got I had one of my former colleagues at Heartland. She was moving to Arizona from Illinois, and she gave me like a bunch of like Zeppelin albums, and actually, I've got Black Sabbath, like the one album.
Yeah.
Planet Caravan. Planet Caravan's an amazing song. Oh my God! Then also got like the original, like the one.
I put my son to sleep with
Aerosmith. Awesome song.
he liked the song Ocean and from Zeppelin, and that was the song we used to put him to sleep with in 1991.
There you go. There you go.
All four of us, favorite Zeppelin song.
Dire Maker.
Nice.
There's so many. There's so many. I don't know that I could pick one. I really don't.
I gotta go California.
What's the line like? Over the hills and far away.
Yes.
I think if I had to, it'd be Stairway to Heaven.
Oh.
You know what? I'm older than everybody here, so
Yeah.
that was very, very big. There's nothing that I haven't done to Stairway to Heaven.
I gotta go.
It's like Freebird and Freebirds are and with what Leonard Skinner Freebird. It only gets good when they start like breaking it down and and boom when you actually get to the bass and
The Rain Song.
Tired of those
There's so many.
Black Dog. The Immigrant Song. Who doesn't like A Whole Lot of Love? Come on.
Hey, a whole lot of data.
All right, we're out of here. John's got to go to work. John's got to go to work.
I'm trying to get my brother to do the jingle for that and stuff. She's got a whole lot of data. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's play this song now.
I think I gotta change. I gotta change my dog's food because Jesus Christ, get out of here, man! You come right next to me and farts right next to me, the damn dog. All right,
get off.
Jesus Christ, man, go outside.
And by the way, Houses of the Holy is the best album. All of it's amazing.
Yeah, all their stuff. I mean, like I said, we put him to sleep with it. He ended up being a rocker. He's a millennial, right? Because he's 91, but he ended up like his favorite all-time song growing up was Black Hole Sun. And he knew all the words to that song as a little kid. Yeah. And he finally got to see them. He finally got to see them in concert, like in the 2000s. So it was a big deal for him because that was like, that was his band. But he's a big country boy now. He loves country music, but he still loves 80s music.
I like old country music. Okay, like the ring you have. I like Dunn. I really love 90s country.
90s country.
This crap is
Rush.
Rush. Oh, Rush. I love Rush.
Yeah.
Rush is awesome, man.
All right, Johnny's got to go to work. Gotta go to work.
Love you guys. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, everybody out there in chat for always joining us. And we will be back next week with all new stuff, probably some positive stuff. I think we're going to get some positive stuff next week. I think so. Look, Lindsay's laughing. It's going to happen, Lindsay. Damn it. It's going to happen.
We can always be hopeful.
Something.
Yeah. All right, everybody, look into the camera and say goodbye. Bye, everybody.